Welcome
I have no idea what's going on, guys. This could be a major fiasco.
to Lighting for Profits, your #1 source for all things landscape lighting. Powered by Emery Allen. From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing.
And almost like, okay, is this where I get beat up in front of my friends? Like, what's going to happen?
We discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
That's what I like.
Now, here is your host, Ryan Lee.
What is going on? Welcome to the #1 landscape lighting show in the world. It's Lighting for Profits, powered by Emery Allen. I am here in the Landscape Lighting Secret Studios in Orem, Utah. Yeah, Orem, lovely place. You should come hang out sometime. It's actually not that amazing. But, guys, I'm excited for today's show. And, yeah, it's live. You know, one of the challenges of a live show, you guys, one of the challenges of a live show is it's live. And so you can't control a lot of things like, you know, if your guest is going to be there, if they're going to be late. And today we've got some hiccups, but we've got them resolved. So I'm excited to start this show. Originally we were going to have Mr. Justin Clegg on with Allset. And we're still having good news, bad news. Good news is we're still having Allset on. But it's just not Justin. But you know, I was talking to our new guest, which is Joel Robbins, right before we just started here. And good news is he's a nice guy, but we're still gonna put him in the hot seat. We're gonna make him suffer just a little bit, right? Like we got to make him feel the pain. But he's a great guy, and I'm looking forward to it because their business, their software, what they do is going to help a lot of you guys out in your businesses. So I'm super excited to have him on. But we will make him sweat just a little bit. So sorry, Joel. And it's really, you know, it's not him, you know, it's Justin. And I get it. You know, he probably wanted to be on the golf course, 18 holes or whatever. It's a beautiful day here in Utah. These guys are in Utah. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, something came up. He's on the lake. He's on the golf course. Something came up. I get it. Right. I get it. But we're not going to let him live this down anytime soon. And just a reminder to our guest, you know, anything they say can and will be used against them. It's tough. It's not easy coming on a live show. I'm always worried that I'm going to say something and someone's going to try to like extort me later on. You know, it's like, okay, here we go. So put the pressure on the guest right before we go live, right? Hey, guys, if you're here, say hello in the comments. What's up, Taylor? Thanks for being here, man. Let me know that you're here. Let me know that you're alive. Say hello. If you're listening to the recording, that's fine too. You know, shoot me a message sometime and tell me if you like the show or not. What's up, Tom? Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. We got Tom Garber with Emery Allen. And by the way, I want to thank Emery Allen. They just helped us put on an event, my first ever lighting mastermind, which I'll fill you guys in on in a minute. But Tom's always been super supportive, and thank them for their support, helping us put on this show, Lighting for Profits. And you know, a lot of people ask what sets Emery Allen apart. Well, bulbs aside, they believe customer satisfaction should be the top priority, always. Emery Allen goes out of their way to ensure lighting professionals have access to the best light sources built with the highest quality components suited specifically for the landscape lighting industry. So at the end of the day, you know, it's what's on the inside that counts, right? So take advantage of Emery Allen's world-class customer service and 10% off your first order for new clients. Just email the owner, Tom Garber. His email is tomg@emeryallen.com. Let him know you heard about him on the podcast, and he'll get your account set up, get your discount going, and everything else. So they've got discounted contractor pricing, which I think you'll like. So, oh, what's up? I got my mom and Justin saying hello from Texas. Thank you, Taylor, for reporting live from Fort Worth, Texas. Taylor professing he made the switch to Emery Allen. What's up? I'm glad to see that Emery Allen is getting some traction. So let's keep it going. Let's give those guys some love. Okay, so a couple of announcements before we have Joel. Again, we're going to have Joel Robbins. He's with Allset. And basically what we're going to be talking about is their software. So they help you get more reviews. They help you get tips for your team members. They help you build your business. So they got a lot of cool things, which we're going to talk to them. And I want to thank you guys for your support, of course, as always. If you weren't listening, watching, whatever, even if you're just pretending to watch, that's cool. I just need the views at this point. I just need the downloads. So thanks for your support. I got a wonderful 5-star review. I was just kind of like looking and I didn't notice it, but it came in a couple weeks ago. Someone who's not even in the lighting industry saying how awesome the show was. So thank you, whoever that was. I couldn't tell by the username. But if you guys have not, go subscribe to the new channel and help me get the word out. Some people think that season 1 was it. And like when I broke up with Turfs Up and went on my own, I started this whole new season, and no, some people don't even know about it. So I don't know how to get the word out. Maybe you guys can help me with some posts on Facebook, something like that. That would be awesome. And if you have not subscribed, go to lightingforprofits.com and you can actually subscribe to whatever channel you want. Apple, Google, Spotify, Amazon, all the cool ones where all the cool kids are. And if you have not given me a review, I'm just going to ask one more time. Ask and you shall receive. If you guys do enjoy the show, even if you don't enjoy the show, just 5-star review. Let me know what you think. So let's get moving. Oh, the other announcement. We're going to continue to do gift card giveaway. That's right. In just a few minutes, halfway through the show, we're going to do another gift card giveaway. So you have a chance to get paid to listen, right? I mean, the show's pretty dang good. We're getting better and better, but that's right. You can win free money from me just by listening. So all you have to do is answer a question, which is proving to be kind of difficult. Some people are not picking up that they gotta study before they listen to the show. So we're going to do that coming up soon. And also next week, I'll be in Nashville. Come see me at the Huge Convention. And it's August 18th and 19th at the Gaylord Opryland Hotel. I'll have a booth there. I'm actually going to give away 2 tickets right now. So if you are going and you need a free ticket, just shoot me a message on Facebook or email me, support@ryanleecoaching.com, support@ryanleecoaching.com, and say, hook me up, and I'll get you 2 tickets to the Huge Convention for next week. So I'll be there. It's again next week, the 18th and 19th in Nashville. It's going to be an awesome time. A lot of cool vendors there, a lot of good speakers. Networking is going to be off the charts as well. So hope to see you next week. All right, enough with the announcements. Let's jump into this. Before we have Joel on, again, we're going to have Joel Robbins with Allset on in just a couple minutes. I want to give a recap. It's been now almost 2 weeks since I had my first ever lighting mastermind. So I want to give a recap. A lot of people were asking me like how it went and what do we do and what's a mastermind and everything else. So I want to give you guys just a quick recap. Now I'll tell you this. This was the best mastermind that I have ever personally put on. I mean, it was the best. Now, it happens to be the first and only mastermind I've ever personally put on. So until I do another one, it will continue to be the best. But it really was amazing. Got really good feedback from people. And, I put a lot into this. It cost a ton of money. I don't think I made any money. So when I say people are investing in themselves, they literally were investing in themselves because they weren't investing in me. If they were investing in me, it was a bad investment because there wasn't much profit to show. But I didn't really care about that. At first I did. I was like, oh yeah, it'd be cool. Make some money and like upsell people. But the more I started putting effort into it. What's up, Andrew? Thanks for being here, man. He had a good time at the mastermind. I was like, you know what? This is my first time. I just want this to be an amazing experience. And the mastermind itself, this was not a conference. This was not, most people had never been to anything like this. It wasn't easy to come to. Most people had plenty of excuses that they could have been like, well, it's the end of July. I've already got vacations. I've already took time off of work. A lot of people were at a Sterling event the week before. There was a ton of excuses that they could have come up with and been like, oh yeah, next time. Right. And this group was what made it an awesome mastermind. I mean, I've never seen a group come together like this. It would have been way easier for them to stay home. And I told them that. I'm like, man, I'm really proud of you guys for being here because you're obviously trusting me. I've never done this. And then they're like, wait, I didn't know that. No, but they knew. And it would have been easier to stay home. And it would have been easier to just come to a conference where they sit there and like listen to speakers. But it wasn't like that. It was high involvement. We had breakout sessions. They had to think. They had to do activities. They had to use their brains. They had to work on their business. And it was not easy. So it was it was so cool to see this group come together. So a couple things that we discussed. One, we started off by talking about really how to replace yourself in your business, and we identified the different seats that people fill. And I've said this before, like at any given time, most of us are doing the job of 4 to 5 people, whether we're answering the phones or doing the sales or doing the invoicing or doing the installs, whatever it is. Most of the time, we're doing at least 2 things, if not 3, 4, or 5, right? And so we identified what those seats were and what the plan and solution was to get out of those seats so that you can really replace yourself in business. We had, believe it or not, one of my like passions is comedy. Like I'd rather go see a comedian than go to a concert. It's just my thing, right? And Lindsay, my wife, loves it, so we go see comedians and stuff like that. And I found this comedian. There's like an improv place here locally, and one of the guys came and did this workshop for us, and it was awesome. Like the guy taught us how to communicate effectively using comedy and improv. He taught us some games to play, red ball, yes, and another one called A to B to C, and it helped us learn how to communicate effectively and how to think bigger, right? And it was crazy that we could learn so much from a comedian, but it was awesome. It was a cool workshop. We talked about habits. I had a breakout session on habits and how I referenced the book Atomic Habits, which is a great book if you haven't read it. One of the examples I shared was in Ice Cube, how if you're in a yeah, it was red ball, not blue balls. Thank you. So um, uh, basically, if you were imagine yourself in a room right now and it's 25 degrees, just freezing cold. There's an ice cube sitting on the table in front of you, and you take effort. You turn on the heat, right? Not let's say you don't turn on the heat, but let's say you turn up the temperature to 26 degrees. What's going to happen to that ice cube? And what happens when you go up to 27 degrees, 28 degrees, 29 degrees? Well, nothing. It's still going to stay frozen, right? Up to 30 and even 31. And then obviously when it gets to 32, 33, it's going to melt, right? Well, the reason that this example is important is because most of us in life take action. We're at 25 degrees and we're like, you know what? Ryan said to go to this, and I'm going to go to 26. Or I read this book and I took this course, whatever it is, right? I heard the speaker. And we feel like we're taking action, but we're not seeing any results. We're not seeing the ice melt. And so many of us quit when we get to 31, and we're 1 degree away. We're one action away from seeing the result, and we quit because we're like, man, this is a waste. I've already changed the temperature 6 degrees and nothing's happened, right? We have these expectations that are so high when in reality, it's just small actions at a time. It's great to land huge jobs. It's great to get that all-star employee, whatever, but most of the time it doesn't start that way. It starts with these small and simple actions. And by creating really small atomic habits, you can have these huge results. So we talked about really controlling the inputs and not focusing so much on the outputs. So that was awesome. We had people write out their 3-year plan and get huge clarity on that. And it was cool to see the group come together. Like I said, I mean, it was less about like what I was talking about or the speakers that I had there talk about, and seeing these groups come together. We ate all our meals together, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I had to like break people up and be like, guys, we got to go. Like, we got to do the next thing. It was so cool to see. I've never seen anything like this. And I truly thank all the people for being there because they made this event like amazing. Um, we went and we did some activities. We went to Olympic Park. So we went tubing down, like, the huge long jump that the Olympians jump like hundreds of feet or whatever. You tube down that. And like people were terrified to go down this. It was pretty steep and fast. And they make you wear helmets. So, it's dangerous if you have to wear a helmet. And um, Michelle was, I'm just going to call her out. Sorry, Michelle. But she was like nervous to go do it, but she did it. Right. And the reason why we did these activities was to kind of prove to ourselves that we can do hard things and we can be afraid of something. And then at the end, it's like, you know what? That wasn't so bad. Like I did it. And what was cool is the next day I hired a videographer. who's on site, like filming the event, but I also paid them to help people make VBCs, which is a video business card. And her and her husband went and made 4 videos. And she was just as terrified to make those videos as she was to go down this tube hill, but she did it. And she learned the day before that it just takes a little bit of courage and she'll be fine. And they knocked out 4 videos with no script. Just did it on the fly. And I was trying to provide scripts and stuff like that to help people if they didn't know what to say, but she just went all in and got the courage and did it. And so things like that were just like life-changing for me to be a part of and to see people grow like right in front of your eyes. So somehow I'm lucky where I get to do this job. Like I feel like so blessed that I'm in this role, that I get to be around these people. I couldn't believe the change and the courage that people had and everything else. It was awesome. And people, we all had the same goal. We were all there to work on our business, and everyone was a giver. No one was a taker. Everyone was just trying to be a better leader, be a better person, build a better company so they could have greater impact in the world. So that was awesome. And then I guess the last thing is we debuted our new awards program, which I got to tell you about. This awards program is I'm really proud of it because when you own your own business, you don't get told you're awesome a lot. Like you don't get a pat on the back. There's not a lot of recognition. Now in the lighting industry, we have you can get a design award in AOLP or something like that, where you can be like, yeah, cool, I did this cool project. But there's nothing to really congratulate you for like being a badass and working hard and growing your business to 100,000, growing your business to 1 million, to 5 million, to 10 million, right? And I remember hitting certain milestones thinking, man, this is pretty cool. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, or maybe you haven't hit it yet, but your first 100,000, like that's cool. And then you sell your first million, that's cool. 5 million, that's amazing, right? 10 million. So we launched a new awards program where we have different levels. So we have the 100K club. We gave out, I don't know how many, probably 20 people earned the 100K club. And then we gave out our first ever lighting millionaire club. So we're calling it the LMC. And basically we gave away eight people earned this award, the LMC. Now they're in the lighting millionaire club, and they're on their way to the Pentamillion, which is the $5 million club. So the reason why I think this is important is it's important for you to pause and celebrate your wins. We always kind of give ourselves a hard time, like, why can't I be better? Or why can't I do this? Or why can't I do that? But, and if you look back 3 years ago, where you are now compared to where you were at 3 years ago, it's got to be awesome, right? 5 years ago. And so stop stressing about where you're at today and reward yourself for a minute. And that's the purpose of this award. It's not really to even celebrate the revenue or the profit, because it's not about that, but it's about the freedom that you can create by growing your business. And so it was cool. It was cool to give those away. Those people worked really, really hard to get that. And basically the rules of the program, some of these people have made even more than that, but it was once the number starts once they join Landscape Lighting Secrets. So anyway, a lot of good stuff. The mastermind, we're going to do it again. We're going to probably do it more often. I'm still like recovering, so I haven't planned the next one yet, but it was amazing. So thank you guys for being putting up with me and letting me explain what happened on the lighting mastermind recap. So are we ready? Are we ready to welcome our guest? I think I'm ready. Let's do this. You guys ready? All right. Welcome to the show, Mr. Joel Robbins.
Thank you. Thanks for the walk-up music. I feel like I should be on a stage right now.
Yes, that's what we need. We need the high energy, high impact.
Yeah, let's go.
Love it, man. Well, welcome to the show, man. I promised everybody that I would give you a hard time. So
Yeah, you know, I am not Justin, and I'm not as handsome or cute as Justin, and so I apologize for that. And you know, you talked about maybe he's out on the links right now. This is a beautiful day in Utah. I'm in Utah as well, and to be honest, I booked these appointments for Justin, and I just saw an opportunity to put myself on this show instead. So I'm just taking the show for myself.
Nice. Wow, just a takeover, a hostile takeover. I like it.
Just pushing him out.
Well, I did have. I was actually a little worried about having Justin on because I've got his bio here, and I was like, can I read this? Like, this sounds like a made up fictional character, and he's going to make everyone feel bad about himself. So maybe it's a good thing we didn't, because his bio is pretty amazing. I was like, I'm not reading this. I'm not going to read this out loud.
It is. I mean, the guy's kind of a superhuman type of person. So let's keep it grounded, and we'll talk like regular humans here.
Let's do. Yeah, I mean, I'm just perusing it. He knows like 400 languages, worked for like Oracle, Adobe, all these other things, started up all these companies, and he looks like he's 19 years old. So I'm like, hold on. He has the fountain of youth as well. Like, what is going on with that guy? So
that's exactly right. You know, once you hit that level, then I guess there's secrets about aging as well. So he's tapped into all of it.
It's just easy. Well, thanks for taking over, man. Let's talk about Allset and what you guys do and what your superpower is and stuff like that. When did you guys officially start?
Yeah, so Allset is about 2 years old now, which is wild to say because we feel like a young tech startup, and really we are. But we've been growing for the past 2 years and working on software for home service businesses. And it's started from just Justin, and then slowly but surely a few more people have joined on, me included. I think I've been here officially for a year and a year and a half if you count the freelance work I was doing with Allset before that. So we've kind of been around for a little bit and been adding on different products to serve the industry a little bit at a time as we've gone.
Nice. Okay, cool. So why did he decide, okay, this is the avenue I'm going to go? There's so many, he's like a tech wizard. He could probably start any type of software company, but why this type specifically?
Yeah. So Justin's specialty was in messaging. You mentioned he started up 4 other different companies, and most of them came from a text messaging or a messaging platform background. And so he's really good with AI and creating platforms that just help businesses better communicate. So how did we end up in this space? Software for home service businesses. It's kind of a weird spot because the way we see it, home services is an area, an industry that gets overlooked and neglected. And the way it happened is there was a service provider that came over to Justin's house and was providing some service. I can't remember exactly what service it was, maybe cleaning his house or his carpets. And they just started talking and diving into technology because Justin's big into technology. And they just started to discover that, you know, there's some software out there, some CRMs that are pretty good, but there was really some big problems that software could help service providers with. And so that just started the wheels in his head going. And so he just started thinking of, okay, what if we could solve this with messaging, with automation, with AI, and started putting some solutions in place. And so it started by having a conversation with somebody in his home. Then he took it another step and actually went out on a couple of jobs. We've got some pictures of him cleaning some homes, also doing some carpet cleaning at the time and some window washing. So we're kind of stepping into some various verticals and kind of getting a feel for what it is that you guys do every day, and getting a taste for that. And so, I mean, you mentioned it in your introduction, that service providers are doing the job of 4 to 5 people. And that was apparent. Anytime we're talking with business owners like yourselves, we see that your plates are so full. And where we're coming from software, we want to alleviate any of that extra burden that can be done through automation or through some sort of software. And so we just saw a great opportunity for an industry that's full of really hard workers, and it just seemed like a good match.
I love it. I mean, it's so cool to see where the technology is, and I feel the same way. I'm like, man, we're so far behind. I'm all in with landscape lighting, but just generally home services, like so many opportunities for us. And it's the small business owners. Like I meet people in corporate, and I feel like they're not really working the same number of hours that we are, and like they they don't have to have the same level of discipline. And like in a small business, like we have to be super efficient. And if someone doesn't show up one day, like it could really impact our business. Like, so wearing all these hats is really, really difficult. So anytime I meet someone like you that's like, wait a minute, you're telling me I could potentially remove like one or two or three hats and remove myself from some of these boxes. That's awesome. So let's talk about what is your superpower? What are the main problems that you guys solve for these small businesses?
Yeah, yeah. Let me just tell you a little bit of the main pillars, if you will, in terms of our products. So, uh, our newest and what we're most excited about product right now is payments, and just figuring out a good solution that's easy and intuitive for home service providers from a payments standpoint. So, what we tout right now is zero cost processing uh, payments. We're looking for ways to cut out those credit card processing fees that are just eating into your already slim margins. So
When you say
payments,
zero, you might need to expand.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, maybe we just dive into that right now. But yes, that's what we're touting is zero cost processing. So there's different ways that we can go about it, but really, what's going on is we're deferring that. So we are making it easy for you to let your customer cover that processing fee and just building it right into the workflow of when you're sending out an invoice for a payment. You're not having to add an additional percent on top or adjust your invoice that way. It's just automatically happening. And so that makes it easier for the collection side of things and then also the accounting side of things. If you're billing, I'm not exactly sure, forgive my ignorance, what your invoices look like for landscape lighting, but let's
Let's
say
just say it's like $5,000, and if we're going off 3%, then you'd say 5,150 is what they owe.
yeah, exactly. So and then your business is going to get that full 5,000 bucks instead of that processing fee later on coming in and sucking that out of your account. So
And do you ever have customers like homeowners going, "Hey, what the heck's this? I didn't know," anything like that, that you can just uh, then handle that payment yourself?
yes, so you have to be compliant, and we're compliant in all 50 states. So, and in order to be compliant, we have to disclose that this is a convenience fee, a technology fee. There's different terminology that you can use, but we have to tell them that they're paying that fee or covering that fee. And not every customer is going to want to pay that, and not every business will want to pass that fee on to their customer. Everybody runs their businesses differently, and that's totally okay. We have different approaches, whether the business defers the whole payment or the credit card fee onto the customer. That's option one. Option two would be the business itself is going to pay for it, just like your traditional payment processing. And then the third would just be splitting it. So is there a way that we can split it half and half? And so, yeah, so some optionality there.
Nice. Okay, cool. So payments is one, and that would that integrate through your software, through their CRM?
Yeah, right now it's through our software. As we continue on this path, we will work in automation for it, as that's what we've been doing with our other products, which we can get into, where we tie into the CRM and we just send it automatically. As of the moment today, it's going to be you're going to create the invoice and send it through our software, which will be at the moment sent via text message, so text to pay, which is a buzzword right now and really popular, and it's for good reason. People are on their mobile devices and they're reading those messages. It makes it convenient for your customers to pay if they can just see the invoice and pay it right there. And so if you don't mind, I'll tell you kind of the story of how we got into payments, as it kind of feeds into this origin story of Allset as well. So Justin actually had a service provider come to his house. I think it was a handyman. And after the handyman did his job, he left, and then he emailed Justin an invoice. We have a picture of the invoice here in the office, and it's essentially, hey, here's your bill. It's $500, and that was it. So there was no way to pay it. There was no link. There was no Venmo handle. There was just nothing. And as we talked to a lot of different people, it's also not unusual for that, because people just want cash or checks. And I guess people my age don't do that. I don't have cash. I don't have checks. Sorry,
What is a cash?
Yeah, a cash is what? And so Venmo, but then Venmo's kind of getting picked on with the IRS, and you got to pay taxes on Venmo too. So there's getting a little bit more stringent on Venmo payments or Cash App or whatever. So he messaged back the guy, and he's like, "Hey, how do I pay you?" And the guy's like, "Cash or a check?" And Justin's like, "I don't have that." And so it's kind of like, you know what? There's a problem here as well. So how can we make payments simple and easy for people? So we kind of designed this, in a sense, to solve Justin's own problem. And so we designed it and ended up paying his handyman via our own product. So that's kind of the origin story there.
Cool. So payments is newer for you guys. What are the other pillars that you guys handle?
Yeah. So other pillars are going to be reviews, online reputation, just a massive product for us. People want to control their online reputation, and we make that possible through a smooth reviews collection process. And then the other would be referrals. So it's kind of referrals, reviews, and payments. And we also do tipping, but I don't think tipping is maybe as applicable. Maybe it is. I feel like tipping happens on smaller check sizes, but it's one that has been huge for businesses that do smaller services, where tipping is very important to their business, and people will leave very generous checks. I mean,
let's talk about reviews first, and then I do want to get into the referrals and the tips, because even in a high ticket thing, I've got clients that have gotten massive tips just because they asked, and I'm like, I didn't even think about it, So like, we'll definitely talk about that. So from a review standpoint, this is something that's been going on for, a long time, but really big in the past 5 years. And so more and more people are doing it or on some type of service. But why would someone want to sign up with your review service as opposed to either just asking for reviews themselves manually or whatever they're currently using?
Yeah. And, I don't think that one solution is the best. I think asking in multiple or a variety of ways is going to increase your odds of capturing a review. And in the end, we just want to make sure that you're capturing reviews. So the reason we'd say go with us is, we're going to automate it. So we're going to read your CRM and send a text message after a service appointment is completed, asking the customer in a very kind way to take a 30 seconds and leave your business a review. We'll push that review to Google or whatever platform it is that you're trying to build your reviews on. So if that's Google or Facebook or Yelp, wherever you are, we're going to push that review to that platform for you.
How many times do you guys remind the customer to do a review?
Yeah, usually it's twice. And we kind of leave it at that. I think we can configure it beyond that if somebody wants to be a little bit more aggressive, but twice has kind of been our sweet spot so far. So, and then the other reason would just be the analytics behind our reviews. We've got a dashboard that's rich analytics. So you can see where your reviews are coming from and just dig into them a little bit further, which is super helpful. I know as you're trying to manage a business, there's so many different data points to look at. And if you can have clean dashboards, it just helps you make better decisions.
Cool. And just to clarify, I think you said it, but it's automated, right? So once you get it set up, as soon as a specific action happens, like final invoice collected or whatever it is, then you can have that trigger send out the text that says, hey, how do we do?
Exactly. And what we do is we base it off of your appointment ending. So once your appointment has been finished within 24-hour window, we'll send out that first review message asking for a review.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I can't believe how many businesses still don't have some type of automation set up for this. I mean, back in the day, it wasn't available, so you just ask. But I've got horror story after horror story of me trying to get some people to log into their Gmail account so they can give me a review on Google. And then they loved us 1 minute until I asked them to give me a review. They couldn't log in. And if I would have, had another option like just go to Facebook or something like that, it would have been that much easier, and I wouldn't have had to been on the phone for 30 minutes trying to help them get through it.
Absolutely. Hey, I have this speaker in this office that just started playing some music. Mind if I unplug that really fast? Because, I mean, it's kind of loud. So I'll be right back. 1 second.
Come on, I got background music. That's right. It's break time. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do our segment anyway. It's time to do the thing. Are you guys ready? It's time to do the thing. Wait. Gift card giveaway. All right, it's time to play gift card giveaway. It's a good time for a break, Joel. So we're going to do that. We're going to play gift card giveaway. All you have to do is be the first person to answer this question correctly. And I do have to specify correctly because there's a lot of people that answer the question first. It's just not usually correct. So the first person to answer this question correctly is going to get a $50 Visa gift card. I'm not sure if it's Visa, American Express. I don't really care. It's just going to be a $50 gift card that we're going to send you, and you can buy whatever you want with it. So here's the question. If you guys are ready, what you need to do is the first one to comment correctly is going to win $50. So let's go. Here's the question. On a standard 300-watt transformer, the maximum, hold on, I got to change something. Okay. On a standard 300-watt transformer, the maximum amp draw is 200. Hold on. Yes. Okay. Third time's a charm, people. On a standard 300-watt transformer, the maximum amp draw is 2.5 amps on the 120-volt side. What is the maximum amps you can draw on the secondary or 12-volt side? Okay, pretty straightforward. First one to answer this correctly will win $50. I'll say it one more time. On a standard 300-watt transformer, the maximum amp draw is 2.5 amps on the 120-volt side. What is the maximum amps you can draw on the secondary or 12-volt side? So put your guesses in the comments, and I'll hook you up. The first one to answer correctly will get $50. So you get paid to stay and listen. So,
can I get on this?
Yeah, Joel. What do you think?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no.
I'm just reading the comments, so I'm going to go with 25.
Oh, you're going to go with 25? Why do you think it's 25?
Well, it's half of 50.
Oh, and I'm giving away $50, so half of it. Okay, that makes sense. So, I mean, maybe I'll send you $25 for trying. We got another. Someone else said 20. So why do you still want to go 25?
Yeah, sticking with 25.
All right. Well, the answer is actually 25. So you would have been correct. So basically, there's a thing called Ohm's law, you guys. Watts divided by volts equals amps. So if you take 300 watts, divide it by 120 volts, you'll actually get 2.5. That's how you get 2.5 amps. And if you get that same 300 watts and divide it by 12 volts, you get 25. So as your voltage goes down, 10 to 1, which is 120 volts down to 12 volts, your amps actually multiply by 10. They go up 10 to 1. So congratulations to Facebook user. You're going to have to shoot me a message and I'll go look back later, but do shoot me a message because sometimes I go back and I can't find the name and everything else. So literally just shoot me a message on Facebook right now and say, your name is Facebook user and you answered 25 and we'll hook you up. We'll get your address and everything and send you that out. So congratulations. And thanks for playing. Gift card giveaway. All right. So that was fun. Good job, Joel, for getting the answer correct after somebody else already did.
Thank you, Facebook user.
Yeah.
Me out there.
I mean, hey, we appreciate you, Facebook user. And by the way, guys, if you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, If you're watching it from one of my groups, for some reason, they don't allow your name to show from groups. Unless you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, you can put in your name and then we can see who you are that way. But just shoot me a message. Thanks for playing, guys. All right, so let's get back into, did we finish reviews?
Yeah, I mean, you brought up just a great point of how many people there are out there that don't have any automation in place for collecting reviews, or they don't have anything in place for collecting reviews. And it's just so valuable. If you want to show up in Google searches, reviews is a great first step, an easy step. And there's so many ways that you can collect them. And we just make it easy. You basically sign up, you set it, and forget it.
Yeah, that's the key. Because if you have to if you're like, well, I'll just do it myself, there's too many things. You'll just get distracted and you won't get them. And if all you have to do is go purchase anything on Amazon or anything yourself, and you'll go through that experience of you're gonna check. You just naturally check the reviews, and if it has a 3-star rating, you ain't buying it. If it has 5-star and like 1,000 people have reviewed it, you're like, yeah, good enough for me. Which sometimes is tricky because I'm like, who are these people? Do they have the same standards as me? It's like here in Utah, have you noticed like restaurants, for example, they get like really good reviews, and I'm like, your food sucks. Like if you've ever eaten in Texas compared to Utah, a 5-star review in Texas is different than a 5-star in Utah. It's really weird. And I'm like, who are these people giving this 5 stars? Like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird, but
yeah.
You got
to. I think it gives some good insight into your own business. It's scary to get a bad review, but at the same time, it gives you some insight to how can you improve your own business.
What do you guys recommend when someone does get a bad review?
We will we'll recommend that you respond quickly and be transparent and be open to furthering the conversation. Maybe move it off of whatever review platform it is, but just try and make it right. So try and fix it. And then once you fixed it, ask the customer if they would change their review or update their review, I guess you could say. So that's how we approach it.
Yeah, I did that once. I was like, oh, I'm going to go write this wrong. And it was a 1-star review. She was really upset, went to her house, got it resolved. She was like super thankful. I'm like, this is great, And she's like, yeah, I didn't ask for her to update the review, but she said, like, she proactively said, I'm going to update. I'm like, thank you so much. That means a lot. She updated it to a 3.
It's better than 1.
Yeah. Like, hey, thanks for updating that review. I mean, I'd even take a 4 at this point. Like, can we negotiate? Like, what would it be that hard to just do a 4? But it's actually okay. A lot of people think they have to have like perfect reviews, but most people think those are fake anyway. So if you have a couple bad ones in there, it's not that bad. It's not good if it's like the last one. So try to bury it with a couple or something like that. But it's not bad to have a 4.8.
Absolutely. Spot on.
What about how important is it for them to just respond to a good review?
That's the practice that we follow at our business. So within our dashboard, your reviews will come in, you'll get notified, and you can respond right to them. So you're not having to go to each platform to write responses. You can respond within the dashboard to any reviews that are coming through. And I always write responses to even the positive reviews. I just thank them and try and personalize it, make it sincere. Because I think that people reading reviews like to see that businesses are responsive, even if it is just in this way and it's saying thank you. I think it can only be positive.
Yep, I agree. I think it's really important for them to respond. That customer took time out of their day to do it, just to acknowledge them and thank them. And another thing that I do on the idea of reviews is if someone can get their name mentioned in it, I'll give them a bonus. Because they're more likely to then provide customer service, introduce themselves. Hey, my name's Ryan. I'm going to be on site manager today, whatever it is. Right. And at the end of the day, we're trying to earn a 5-star review. So if we don't earn that, we're going to be really disappointed. And I know you are too. So that's our goal at the end of the day. And I've had people say like, hey, I actually get a bonus if you mention my name, and kind of leading into tips, but it's a great way where if someone wants to help a person out because they saw phenomenal service, mentioning their name, they know that their boss is going to hook them up with a bonus when they get back to the shop. Is pretty cool.
Absolutely. Yes. And when your technicians know that they are getting reviews, they're going to put their best foot forward for sure, which leads along to tips as well.
Okay. Well, let's go. We're just going to keep holding tips until the very end.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Because I actually think it's pretty cool how you guys do this. But referrals, how do you guys help get more business?
Yeah, referrals, we're following the same process here. Basically, the way our referrals product is built right now is if somebody leaves a positive review, then we can send them a message and say, hey, do you want to refer a friend or a neighbor? We give them a pre-written message that they can easily copy and forward or pass along to their friend or neighbor. It's best if the business running referrals is able to put in some type of incentive, say, mention this message, get 20% off, or get whatever it is. Some sort of incentive for people referring the business helps or goes a long ways. And so we just are making it easy for your customers to refer your business to their friends and family.
Nice. And that's all via text?
All via text, correct.
And is that an automation as well that gets sent out to everybody?
As it stands, we are piggybacking the referral product off of the reviews or the tips or both. So we're not really just sending out referral messages, just prompting people to refer the business. We just haven't had demand for it that way. And so we're just piggybacking it off of positive reviews or tips. So we just make sure that the experience was positive for the customer, and then we'll prompt for a referral.
Okay, cool. Facebook user said, we got a 1-star review saying how expensive we are. I love it. We now constantly have customers bringing up our 1-star review and laughing with us about it. It actually helped.
Very
Reminds me of here in Utah, the Snowbird Ski Resort, and they published in one of their ads, like full page, really cool picture of this guy skiing down this awesome slope, and it was a 1-star review, and it said something like, the snow's too deep, it was above my waist, and the mountains are so steep here, I'll never come back. I was like, that is awesome marketing.
It's too deep and too steep.
Yeah, it really was. It was awesome. So, man, if you could get a really cool bad 1-star review to just totally plaster everywhere on social media and direct mail and all that, that would be awesome, saying how expensive and how on time and prompt you were and everything else.
That's awesome.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about tips, baby. Let's talk about tips. Man, I should have been way more prepared with some background music for that. Let's talk about tips.
I like the solo. So tips, that's actually the product where we started. And really it comes down to the fact that people are working hard out there. They're not getting paid enough for the work that they're doing. And we wanted a way to increase the take-home pay for technicians, for people in the field that are sweating it out in the hot heat, and they're just working hard. And so tipping it's a polarizing product because you're either for tips or you believe that tipping shouldn't be a thing. But for people that are on board with tipping, it's a game changer. We have businesses that tell us that their technicians are making $300 to $500 more a month with tips, which that's a lot of money for people that are earning $20 an hour, or however much, but on average, that's kind of what we're hearing. And so it's changing some lives. And let me explain the product a little bit. Tipping product is going to work when you have all these products turned on, they're all going to work seamlessly together. In a silo, they all kind of work the same. So what happens is we read your CRM. We know when your appointments are finished. And so when an appointment completes, we'll send a text message to a customer prompting them to leave a tip. Now, because tipping can be so polarizing for customers, we try and help you position your messaging so that it's not really demanding a tip, but more so just prompting and being polite about it. Hey, if you would like to leave a tip for your service technician, here's how you do it. And we provide a link. It's very easy for somebody to then go ahead and leave a tip via credit card, debit card, essentially is how it's set up at the moment.
Does it have like do they have to type in the amount, or does it say like 0, 5, 10, 15, 20?
Yeah, great question. So right now we give them 3 prompts. Default can be whatever you choose. So let's just say your business asks for $20, $40, $60. I'm not sure, whatever you want to set up, but you've got those 3 boxes.
10,000.
Yep.
10,000.
$10,000, and then the bottom's 10,000. Yes. And then there's an other, but so basically you've got some easy options there where they just click, yeah, I want to leave a $50 tip, click, and now they're dropping in their credit card information. It goes through. And then there's the other option, because there's a lot of people out there that will figure out like a percentage tip that they, for whatever reason, they just want to leave a 10% tip or 20. If they've been to a lot of restaurants, I guess that's just how they tip. So they'll figure it out on their own and they'll tip that way. So it just makes it really easy for them. Not all CRMs or payment solutions offer like a tipping line. And so this just makes it easy. And it also, by a customer receiving a text message asking about a tip, it kind of lets them know like, hey, they should tip. And that's usually a lot of our businesses will say tipping is never expected, but always appreciated. So it's a softer message, but it just lets people know like, we really appreciate it. We're working hard for a tip. And like I say, the response has been massive. We've got a company that's companies on general are bringing home at about $1,000 addition in tips. And this is usually on top of the cash tips that they're already receiving. You've got customers that just will normally just have cash for any service that they do. And this is usually money on top of that, because it's just hitting a different demographic. People that A, didn't know they should tip, or B, didn't carry cash. And so it's just capturing some additional revenue.
Yeah.
And then that just comes right into your business.
I think the thing about it is them not knowing that they should or could. Like, that's happened to me at my house a lot, where if someone would have just been like, if I would have seen that, oh yeah, I could give them a tip, I would have. I actually enjoy tipping people. But what about the people who are like against it, and they're like, I'm not gonna do that. I already told this client it's $5,000. I'm not about to ask them for a tip. Why did they think like that?
Yeah. And one thing, I'll answer your question, but your statement brought up this point where a lot of times people don't know that they should tip, but then they think like, maybe I should tip, but they don't know how much. And so they're like, I don't want to offend this person by tipping too little, so I'm just not going to tip at all. And so that happens. And so by having those 3 prompts, it just kind of takes away the awkwardness of tipping, because it's like, oh, I'm just going to choose the middle one because that seems reasonable. And so they feel safe leaving that person a tip, and they like to do it. People do like to tip. It's really interesting. So for those people that don't want to tip, they're out there, and we make it easy. Like, if they don't want to receive any more messages from you, they can opt out. They can reply stop to the text message, and then they'll never receive a text message again from you, essentially, for this. And so,
well, I think there's business owners out there that are like, I ain't doing this. I'm not gonna give my customer an opportunity to give me more money. I've already agreed with them. What's your response to them?
We just try and point out the fact that there's people out there that want to leave a tip, and you're just giving people an opportunity to do so. But I've learned I'm not going to change anybody's mind when it comes to tipping. This is kind of something that's been passed down, and if they're stuck in their ways of believing that, then that's all right. Like, they can go with reviews or something else. Like, no big deal.
I do think it's an awesome way to it's not really giving your team members a raise, but it's giving them an opportunity to earn more money without it coming out of your pocket, for sure.
And in a sense, it is a raise. We've had people say that they'll put it into their job applications, not applications, but job descriptions, that they get tips. And I've seen it around. Like, I'll go to fast food places now where it's saying the rate is $13 an hour plus tips. And if your business is making it easy for your technicians to receive tips, why not include that? Because it's consistent money that's coming in.
So how does this all help with like just building company culture? I know that's something that it feels like your software can help with.
Yeah. So I think it comes back to what we talked about a little bit with reviews, where if you know that you're going to receive potentially a tip based on your performance, you just want to work harder. You want to be nicer. You want to just perform better for the customers. And a lot of times businesses like yourselves can't be on every job site and talking to every customer. And so you're relying on somebody else to represent your business. And so putting some incentives in place to help your workers perform at their best and be on their best behavior, it has a positive impact on the business overall. We've also seen businesses tie in tips and reviews into their culture internally by just whether it's putting competitions in place or just tracking like a leaderboard type of thing, or even just helping with performance by seeing who's bringing in more tips and then learning from that person. Why is it that Jody is always bringing in these big tips? What's she doing? And so you've got a little bit more insight, and now you can say, you can learn from her and pass that on to other technicians that maybe aren't bringing in tips or reviews and help them increase their performance.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, obviously on a lower ticket item, like maybe window clean or something like that, it's easier for someone to be like, yeah, I'll do 20%, it might be like $50 tip or something like that. Landscape lighting, where an average ticket is like $5,000 to $10,000, 20% is, pretty sweet. But I've got a client that gets, $1,000 tips. And I would just like this example, like I would have never thought to ask for a tip because I was that guy that thought, well, we're already charging enough. But I guarantee if I would have given that opportunity to people, I mean, people loved it. They would buy the guys lunch, dinner, like they'd have breakfast set up when we got there, like just different stuff like that. They would have gladly tipped. And some of them probably would have done 15, 20% of these huge tickets.
Absolutely. My air conditioning went out of my house over the weekend, and I had this technician show up Friday night, working late. He came over at like 9 p.m. because he's just working all day, gets over, does the service, is able to fix it. And I'm bringing him drinks and stuff, trying to be nice because I see this guy's hustling and it's late. And then I get the invoice and I pay it. And in my mind, I'm thinking, man, if there was a way I could tip this guy, I would. But it just wasn't there, even though the service was over $1,000 to get this air conditioning part replaced. Even if it's a $20 tip or $50 tip, like I saw the hustle that guy was doing, and I want it to go to him and not to the business, if you will.
Yeah. Well, call him up, man. Go sell him the Allset way.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right. Well, cool. We're going to wrap up, but real quickly before we do, how does someone get in touch with you? And I guess, before that, do they have to buy is it all one package, or they can just buy like one or two or three things?
Yeah. Great questions. Let me start with our website is tryallset.com. And then my email, feel free to just email me directly. I can talk to you one-on-one or funnel you to the right place. My email is Joel, Joel, @allsethq.com. So I'm happy to talk to anybody. And then as far as pricing goes, it's a great question. So payments, like we talked about in the beginning, this is our newest product. And right now we're operating on a freemium model for payments. So essentially, you're not going to pay anything for it. It's free to you. And the question obviously is, well, where are you making your money? We're taking a small percentage from the processing fees. We're baking our take into that fee that your customer is going to end up paying. So that's how we're going to make money there, and we'll be okay. As far as tips, reviews, and referrals go, we have that built into a monthly SaaS fee that we can work out a deal with you. It depends on your appointment volume and ticket volume sizes. So email me, I can get you pricing. but that is separate. So that one we can price out just depending on your business.
Okay.
Whether you're getting all three or you just want one of those products. And then payments is kind of separate, but they all work great together.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you coming on, filling in for Justin. I hope he had a good round today, at least, Yeah. And thanks for jumping on last minute and helping us out, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, it was great to meet you, and I look forward to meeting your audience. And you talked a lot about Mastermind at the beginning. Let me just give you a quick plug that I did a Mastermind myself once, and it was the best thing ever. So if you guys haven't done the
best thing ever,
do it.
Yes, it was the best one I've ever done. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for being here, and thanks, Joel. Hope everyone has an awesome week, and we'll see you next time.
See you later.